Vikings versus Panthers, GMG's pregame show. The gang is back. We're here to move on to this next Sunday when Teddy Bridgewater, maybe, and the Panthers come to Minnesota to take on your Minnesota Vikings, fresh off a discouraging loss to the Dallas Cowboys. Yay. But before we get into that, I'd like to introduce my partners on the pregame show. And everybody is obviously, to my viewers, right. In the middle, we have the one, the only, the base ripper, the Drewster. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How you doing? Off that spirited In the Raw show. We're doing okay.
Yeah, it was spirited, wasn't it? Oh, boy, and we appreciate the reaction we got online during the show. It was hopping. Fans were talking back and forth. They were talking to us. It was flying. We love that, and we encourage more of that. And join us come after the game on Sunday, and we will have live another opportunity for you to do just that. Either celebrate or bitch and whine and complain, and everybody needs to be fired, as Flip would say. The great Flip Muzzy. Also with us today, all the way over there on the end, from the frozen Northland where all the beets should be harvested and in their piles by now, we have the one, the only, the drone master, Ryno, king of the jungle. How you doing, Ryno?
What's up, boys? I'm doing all right. We are moving past that cluster fudge that we had last week and moving on to Carolina.
Carolina coming to town. Do you think, this is just an off-the-wall question I just thought of, do you think them playing outside in the nice, warm, relatively warm confines of their stadium, coming to Minneapolis where it's cold and then still having to play inside bothers them at all?
Oh, I'm sure it's terrible for them. Hell, this time of the year, Charlotte's probably not exactly a tropical destination either. They got rain and crappy weather and stuff, so they're probably looking forward to playing inside. Yeah, it's not like Cleveland that's played in the monsoon for the last 3 weeks. But
hey, Ryno, can I ask you something? I got a chance to get Flip and Ted and Dave's grades for Kirk Cousins in that Dallas game. But I wanted to jot down what you graded him at, because I got the other three guys that gave him a grade, and I wanted to get yours. Overall, Kirk Cousins' grade performance in that game.
Did Dave actually give a grade, or was it he kind of hemmed and hawed?
I gave a grade. I said he failed.
That's right. You gave him a fail. Yeah,
he did. He did a perfect paper, turned it in, and forgot his name.
Well, there's 60 plays in a game, so he got an F for the last drive, which had 4. So we're not going to talk about that.
That's like one test I did in college. I did the entire problem right.
He did have a...
Wait, Ryno, real fast. Yeah. Dave, what grade do you give Justin Jefferson?
Probably a B, because of that last drop pass. Otherwise, he would have been an A.
So on the last drive, he dropped a pass that would have been a first down. He gets a B. But Cousins on the last drive gets an F for an overall grade. But
we don't pay Justin Jefferson $100 million to win football games.
Come on. All right, Ryno, going back to you.
Quarterback, you said it. Quarterback's the most important position on the field.
Flip gave him a B. Ted gave him a B minus. Oh, Flip gave him a B plus. Ted gave him a B minus. I gave him a flat B. Dave gave him an F.
Now, I do admit he had 140 some odd QB. Sorry about that, Ryno. He had 140 some odd QB rating and was stellar for most of the game. But
we got your grade, F. We got it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ryno.
I mean, I'm going to give him a B.
Okay,
just a regular B. Like I said, realistically, up until that last 2-minute drive, and I have some comments about 2-minute offense and stuff that we'll talk about after Pitt here. But up until then, Cousins played a pretty damn good game. I mean, that one fumble should have never happened because there was a helmet to helmet hit on him before that ball came out. So, I mean, that should have been a personal foul penalty. I mean, if, as we saw again, Harrison Smith gets him every freaking week for hits that aren't that bad. I mean,
I heard
they're trying to peg Harrison Smith as a dirty player, and he's not. He's an old school guy that will hit the shit out of you, and it's they're penalizing him for it for no reason. He's not leading with the helmet. He's not spearing. He's just coming up and laying the wood to people, and he's getting penalized for it.
I don't usually like to talk about the officiating because it irritates me when other people do.
So yeah, it does me too.
In that game, it seemed to me like Dallas was getting away with a lot of after the whistle shit, like pushing and stuff like that. They weren't calling that, but they were calling the Vikings for every little thing. But it's rare for me to even say that because I leave officiating way off to the side. Usually.
Right. I mean, blaming the officials is usually the lazy way out of it.
There was Vikings getting pushed after the whistle and pushed down, and not that those are big deals, but you got to call it right both ways. Call it the same. I mean,
please be consistent. Yes.
Yeah.
It just seemed like that to me. It's like after the play, a guy's getting up, Dallas guy pushes him down and shit. And I'm thinking if the Viking guy did that, they'd be throwing the flag, it seems like. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Okay, B grade. I want to keep you included with all of our grading because I run a tight grading system, Ryno.
No, I know. No bell curve shit. You're right. You're right there.
What the hell happened in that? What happened with that Dallas game, Ryno?
Same thing that happens and this I'll lead this into my stats I had deal here.
Synopsis.
So I was with a 2-minute. It's just like every other 2-minute. I mean, you watch teams like Kansas City, you watch teams like Seattle, even Arizona now. All these. You see, they're down by 3 points. The team from Wisconsin is typically another one. They're down by less than a touchdown with 2 minutes to go, minute and a half to go, whatever. You could, even as not being a fan of these teams, you can sit there with a relatively high level of confidence and say, Mahomes is going to run this thing down the field and they're going to get the field goal to tie it or they're going to get the touchdown to go ahead. Russell Wilson, same thing. I mean, we saw what he did to us when we played him. There wasn't a doubt in my mind when Russell Wilson got that ball back with whatever, minute 15 or whatever it was left, that he was going to drive down the damn field and he was going to score and we were going to lose. When we do that, I don't have that feeling that, hey, we're going to run down there. It's like, oh, God, I hope we don't screw this up. But I was listening to another podcast here, I think it was yesterday, and this is not just on Cousins. I want to preface that. This is the Vikings offense, 2-minute drill, defense, everything else in general. But the stats that were brought up were over the last 3 years, which just tends to coincide with when Cousins showed up. But I'm not just throwing this all on Cousins just so we don't get hate mail and everything. Not that I care, but over the last 3 years, there has been 168 fourth quarter comebacks during the regular season of the NFL. The Vikings have one. One out of 168. There's 32 teams.
Over the span of what? How long?
Over the span of the last 3 seasons.
Holy shit, that is.
So 18, 19, and 20.
That might be the worst Viking stat I've ever heard.
And do you want to know why?
Because not only is our quarterback not clutch and doesn't have the the clutch gene, for lack of a better term, to be able to lead us down the field like a Mahomes, like a Russell Wilson, like an Aaron Rodgers. Our offensive play calling, you look at all these 2-minute drives. We've had 3 or 4 opportunities this year on 2-minute drives to end a game where we could have come down to either tie or win. Tennessee, the game against Dallas. There was another one.
We couldn't have.
Well,
if we had stopped Seattle.
Technically, Seattle, if we would have scored on that fourth down, the game would have been over. But you look at the play calling when we get into that 2-minute offense. It's like whoever's calling the plays has never figured out how. They just picked up a playbook and let's here, let's try this. But then you get down and then it seems like on any time we have a 4th down or whatever it is, 4th and 6, 4th and 9, whatever. And Cousins did it this last weekend. On that 4th down play, he hauls back and just heaves it down the field like he's throwing a damn Hail Mary when we only need to get 8 to 10 yards to get a first down and keep the ball. And we still had plenty of time. We still had a timeout in our pocket. We could have thrown it over the middle to the tight end, got the 10 yards that we needed, moved the chains. We only needed to get in field goal range to tie the game and send it into overtime. We didn't absolutely have to have a touchdown. Touchdown would have won the game, but a field goal at least would have put us into overtime and give us another chance. And then part of this falls back on Zimmer's philosophies too. Zimmer's a defensive guy. His offense the offense always seems like it's just a necessary evil to him. He wants them to score just enough and then put it in the hands of his defense to win the games. Defensive guy, I want my defense to be winning us the games. And for a lot of Zimmer's tenure, we were able to do that because we had a good enough defense. He's still playing that way, and our defense is not good enough anymore. So, we have with the running joke, we could put up 40 points any time we wanted to. We need to be doing that more often. Put up at least 30 plus points because our defense is going to give up 25 to 30 points. But we're still playing that uber conservative. Zimmer's playing like it's 1994. We're going to run the ball. We're going to score just enough points to where we should be able to win it. And then, the defense couldn't hold and we lost.
Well, it's hard to argue any of that.
It's the philosophy, and it's a problem.
Is.
It's the we're going to build around the run first, and the run first works great if you're winning. But if you get to where you're behind, it doesn't, because you've just eliminated that weapon. And that last 2 minutes, do you see us handing off to Dalvin Cook to run up the middle or off tackle or whatever? No, that does not happen. Yeah, we could throw him a screen.
And that's
the problem.
To win that game. The drive, they had the ball with before that on it.
4 minutes or whatever it was to go. Yeah,
they blew it on 2 drives at the end.
Right, but they play with the type of philosophy they have, where they want to run to set up the pass to run, and feature the run game. They've got to play from ahead, and it not necessarily the score, but close to it, where they're playing and they have the whole playbook to include, Dalvin up the middle, Dalvin off tackle, whatever. And when that gets taken away and they don't have that ability to do that, and they're forced into, we must throw the ball and we must catch up from behind, they have not been able to do that as an offense.
When you look at it, what is Kirk Cousins best at?
Play action.
Play action.
And what's play action based off of, Drew?
Play action is based off the run.
The threat of the run.
A 2-minute drive. Everybody and their dog knows we're not going to be running the ball with 1 minute and 15 seconds, 1 minute and 30 seconds left. that takes away the play action. It takes away the threat. The threat of the run is gone. So they know we're going to throw, so they can pin their ears back, come after Cousins, because they know if they can rattle him, get him off script, bad things tend to happen, and we're not going to run down the field or move ourselves down the field, get to field goal range, get a touchdown, whatever the case may be.
Okay, I have a question, though. What Dave just said, the philosophy that Zimmer has or Kubiak has, or at this point I'm starting to think they're the same person, is the run to set up the pass. If it's the run to set up a pass, why the hell do the Vikings run it on 2nd and 10 every time?
Yeah, we are by far the.
No, I'm just asking if the philosophy is run the ball to set up the pass. Every time the Vikings are in 2nd and long, they hand that ball to Cook. Every time.
There's a guy I follow.
We run to set the pass up on 3rd down.
Explain to me that then, if that's the philosophy of the
There's
team.
There's a guy on Twitter I follow called, I think it's Computer Cowboy or something like that.
I'm not exaggerating. They do it every 2nd and long, Dave.
That makes marvelous charts. And I did not save off this week's. But
oh, you love that guy.
I do. I love that. But he was talking about, on this week's chart, was expectation of running. What was it? Expectation of running on 1st down versus, or on 2nd down versus pass, right? And they had, here's where we expect you to run. And these teams on this side of the chart actually passed. On this side of the chart, when they should be passing, they actually ran. Well, one of the biggest ones on that last group was the Vikings. It was the second to bottom. The worst, believe it or not, is Cleveland. But
it's always that 2nd and long.
And it's just, I don't know the answer for it. I don't know why they think that works when you have a quarterback and you have the top 3 graded by PFF receivers in the league. 2 of them are on your team. And Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. And why you aren't giving them more balls, targeting them on passes, blows my mind. It does not make logical sense. Coaching football is simple. You exploit the other guy's weakness.
Dave, part of it is I don't think Zimmer and Kubiak trust Cousins enough. I think after that first 6-game stretch, I think that's when they started reining him back in and going more to the run. I don't think they trust him enough to have him let it fly like that, like he should be doing.
They don't trust him enough. They haven't trusted him for a long time. It's not anything that's recent. But now that you bring up the guts of the 2-minute drill, I have a question for both of you guys. In both the Tennessee game and this Dallas game, Dallas had the ball for a long drive leading up to the 2-minute drive, naturally, to score. Tennessee had that long-ass drive where they took the lead. What? And then the Vikings come out and run these horrible – they look like a squirrel in traffic. They don't look like – my question is, what were they doing on the sideline between Cousins and Kubiak? Was there any preparation for a 2-minute drive? Because it doesn't look like there is.
That is a brilliant question.
Every time you see the sidelines, Kirk is sitting off on the edge of the bench by himself, just staring at a Surface tablet or whatever the hell it is. He's not over there talking to Gary or Clint, quarterback coach, offensive coordinator. He's not talking to his receivers. He's not talking to Dalvin Cook. He's not doing any of this stuff. He's just sitting over there in the corner.
Remember the 4 plays on the Titans game? The last 4 plays in that Titans game, Dave. Did that look like any kind of formulated plan?
No, and that's what irritates me to no end.
That was the drive that Zimmer called the disaster or the clusterfuck or whatever they called it.
What were they doing for 20 minutes while Tennessee had the ball? What the fuck were they doing?
Drinking Gatorade.
That's when you formulate it. That's when you come up with the game plan. Come on.
No, well, yes, you do. But you also should be thinking of those scenarios all during the offseason, all during
absolutely
preseason,
during the week of practice,
drilling those doing the 2-minute drill and going, oh, shit, we've got this. This is our situation. The situational football, and they haven't done it.
The Vikings had a perfect fake punt call. Perfect fake punt call. And the reason they just didn't cover the details of explaining it to everybody what to do. The perfect time to call that. It was great. It would have worked.
And that's high school players what to do. But the problem with the thing that screwed that fake punt up was the fact that Boyd wasn't set before the snap was coming.
Because he was too excited.
That was high school level. Great. I was excited. I was excited too when I saw his ass wide open out there.
You can't jump around, though. You got to maintain your cool. You can't have an illegal shot.
That's a discipline issue.
It doesn't get much more fundamental
details
than
all details of the Vikings.
You need to be set before the snap.
Yeah.
I think it's a discipline
issue. Off season, during the week, all that. You work on Belichick. He does situational practices. He lines up all his guys and goes, all right, it's 3rd and goal from the 7. What are we going to do? That's how they practice. All situations, all plays, all details. That's all they do. Yeah, and you notice they're pretty good at the details.
And that's what the special team. And that's our special teams have been horseshit for the last month.
This season.
Well, yeah, but I mean, what do they? Do they not even practice special teams?
I'm yelling at Boyd, going, "Stop jumping around!" But all actuality, I don't think anybody told him he couldn't shift. I don't think he knew.
Yeah.
Speaking of special teams, I even prepped for it. Our new long snapper.
Dave loves in the long snappers.
Absolutely.
Better. Isn't that Benji Gideon's number?
I see it is.
Oh, poor Benji. Bye, Benji.
Well, Benji's gone. Andrew Paola
or something on that.
Okay, you got 9 seconds to spend on the long snapper. Go.
No, that was it. I stuck him in. That's all I needed to do. I prepped for him. I got a whole bunch of other pictures too ready.
I didn't have any problem with the snap.
I got one. No, I got one more thing to say. One more thing to say about last week before we move on.
Yeah.
If I ever see Chris Jones pull another, I think that when I saw that, the first thing I thought of was the movie Major League. Come on, Doran, get in front of the damn ball. Don't give me that old lay bullshit. If I ever see him do that on the field again, I'm driving down to Egan and I'm kicking his ass myself.
There you go.
Well, we'd watched Chris Jones over the last few weeks and thought, hey, this kid's pretty good. He's good in zone coverage. But when he's man-on-man, which we played a lot of cover 1 in the first half, which is man-on-man, and he's going against Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper's running the slant on him.
Cooper ate his lunch, stole his freaking cookies.
And he cannot keep up. And people wonder, why didn't he make it in Arizona and stuff like that? He's great.
This is why.
He's good at zone coverage. He's horrible at man coverage. And he got his
and apparently
ass
he's horrible on run defense too. Because it's like he looked like he was a gunner running down on the punt, and the guy just all of a sudden calls a fair catch. He comes back and he basically pulled up and let the goddamn backup running back go for 42 and a touchdown.
And it's frustrating.
It's not like he was even. It's not like he was trying to, going to tackle Adrian Peterson. In his prime, we always used to watch people hate to hit Adrian because they were going to run over him. You're basically letting Joe Bag of Donuts run right by him on this kind of stuff.
Everybody on Dallas caught a slant pattern, by the way. Every player on their fucking team caught a slant.
Yeah, even the lineman.
Unbelievable. Are we going to stop the slant anytime soon?
But talking about hits, what was it? Van Der Esch hit Cook, and then Cook had to come out and get his face mask changed out because he bent his face mask. That's good old-fashioned football. Love that shit.
But on that, why was that not a penalty for defenseless receiver hit, but every time Harrison Smith does the same exact fucking thing,
because it's the
he
Vikings.
gets 15-yard
the
flag.
Vikings.
Did I not tell you Osborne was going to fumble? Did I not tell you that?
Yeah. I said, and like I said, last week when you started calling him Ozzy, that's pretty fitting because he looked like freaking Ozzy Osbourne out there again.
All right.
Man.
I think we beat Dallas to death.
Yeah, we
That
went a little
game.
bit far. I always like to get Ryno's take because we don't get to talk to him after the game. So it's always like to get his.
He's down at the local bar, checking out the local
honeys.
Well, yeah, sites, whatever you want to call
I
it.
was deer hunting this week, but yeah.
Okay, you're in the
I've got to
woods.
go to the bar and check out honeys.
It's North Dakota. There's not any woods, Dave. You know that.
There is down in the. I could show you some. I'll get back with you
Up
offshore.
north, yeah, but not down here.
All right.
As we get on to Carolina, I did talk to Matt Rule today for about 30 seconds.
Did you? What do
yeah,
you have
I
to
did.
say?
I asked him, "What's the game plan? What's your offensive game plan against the Vikings?" Guess what he said? I'm going to run it on first down for 6 yards. Then I'm going to throw a slant. I'm going to do that all the way down the field. Then I'm going to score a touchdown. And I said, "Can you get? What else are you going to do?" That's it.
That's it.
What else do I have to do? Dallas got 6 yards of rush, and then Dalton threw a little out patterns and little slants, and that's how they got down the field the whole day. They were running it at 6 yards a clip all day. So,
And Ezekiel got his first 100-yard game of the season. Question: will 8-8 get you to the playoffs?
No,
I don't think. Even with
It's
that
got to be
extra
9-7.
How are they going to get?
I think you're going to have to be at least 9-7 because there's too many teams that are. I mean, there's already 6 teams that have 7 wins. I think,
guys, they lost at home
We're
to
2 games
Dallas.
behind Cardinals.
They lost at home to Dallas, and they lost at home to the Falcons. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
When are they going to drag out 4 more wins? They have 4. They've had 4 the whole season. They're going to get 4 more. What? They only have how many games they got left?
Here, let's look.
Come on, they're not winning.
This Sunday's not even a guarantee.
Come on.
There's your schedule.
Saints, we're not winning that game. Probably not winning that Tampa Bay game. And to be honest, I don't even know if we're going to win this Sunday's game.
Well,
the numbers say we're flat out neck and neck with Carolina. That's what the numbers say.
Well, and
right now,
I
think we're a 3.5-point favorite to Carolina right now, which you get 3 points for being the home team. So
not
this
season. This season you're only getting 1. Normally it's 3.5, but this season you're only getting 1.
I didn't see 4 wins on there. I saw.
No. Well,
by the way, nice graphic. Good work on the graphic.
If you took Lions, Bears, Jags, and possibly Carolina, there's your 4 wins. But you got to do that.
Yeah, but on that last Detroit game, we are 1-4 at home this year.
Yeah,
I know.
The Bears.
Crazy.
You think the Bears are going to play that bad again? You really think so? Fuck no. They're going to come in here a lot better than they were in Soldier Field.
Well, right, and
I don't know.
Like I said, that last game of the season against Detroit. I mean, by that time, we may have a bunch of people that are checking out. Saying, and Detroit could very easily beat us.
Yeah, and they could be under the new coach like Atlanta going, hey, we want to prove something.
Dave, if we were in the NFC East, Dave, I'd be all with you on this playoff run. I would.
If we were in the NFC East, we'd be in first place.
Yeah, we'd have a 1-game lead in the NFC East right now.
Half game, yeah.
It kind of feels like that Cowboy game took all the playoff away.
It did.
Took all the playoff.
It did.
Yeah, it basically did.
And I saw realistic percentage of making the playoffs. It's down to 1.7%.
Yeah.
When you factor in strength of schedule, who you're playing, all that, blah, 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 1.7%.
You got a better chance of pouring a drink with Kate Upton, Dave Stefano, than you do the Vikings getting to the playoff.
That is a nice thought. Thank you.
Yeah, they're just going to have to play it out, and they'll probably, the Vikings, they'll probably lose the games you just said, and they'll beat the Buccaneers and Saints. The Vikings, they'll probably do something like that. But we're playing it out. We're fans. We're going to see what happens the rest of the season. But we could certainly spoil a couple teams that are in the running, including the Buccaneers and the Saints. We could screw their lives up badly because they are in the running.
Speaking of the Saints, even though it's not this week, it's obviously basically a month from now. Did you see Drew Brees' numbers of cracked ribs keep going up?
I couldn't believe that. What is it, 9 or something?
12 or 15 or some ungodly number.
Last number I heard was 12.
What the hell did he get hit by? A bus?
I don't know.
What the?
Yeah, He got ran over by a bus.
What has he got? Top ramen ribs? What are his ribs made out of?
Well, and they all the quarterbacks wear the rib protectors.
12 ribs?
He's not playing again this year, I don't think.
But they originally said 2 weeks.
No. If he's back for the playoffs, that would be amazing.
There's nothing more than I would like, being our season's over, than to ruin the state season for what, a fourth year in a row or something.
Oh, that would be sweet.
Haven't we ruined 3 of their seasons or something like that?
Yeah.
Or
2 of the last 3, because the miracle game, the game last year, and then the one in between there was that one where they had that blatant pass interference where the Rams ended up beating them. So they've gotten kicked out the last 3 because of.
Isn't that Christmas Day or something?
That is Christmas Day. Yes.
Oh, we know it's coming for a present.
And it'll be a great show for Ed Raw.
We're going to win that game.
Big old bag full of reindeer shit and Sean Payton stocking.
That'll be our one big win of the season we could all celebrate.
Now.
What happens this weekend? What are we going to do with these guys?
I was going to ask you, what sort of numbers do you have when it comes to the Vikings versus the Panthers?
They're pretty much middle of the road all the way through, both these teams. If you look at their offense versus defense, I mean, look at the Panthers, 18 and 19. They're straight across the board about the same.
Yeah, versus if you look at our offense versus their defense, it's about identical.
Mm-hmm. Well, our offense is 8th, and that, at least that's what I don't know. What do you got written here? I have 8th. I don't know.
I have 8th overall yards, and they're 18th in overall yards.
But if you look at their offense against our defense, all the numbers are pretty equal. There's not really anything that stands out. They're a little bit better in turnover ratio than we are, but we've been kind of sucking buttermilk in the turnover ratios all year. So I don't really know if one team has a big advantage this week. By the number standards, David and Ryno, it looks nip and tuck the whole way through.
It does.
So,
now,
I think so.
On my slide here, I compared Kirk Cousins to Teddy Bridgewater. Because we think Teddy Bridgewater will be the one starting.
I don't know. Where are you getting that information from? I think he's still.
He's a full practice today.
Oh, he was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you look, they're equal numbers, 10 games. Teddy's got a better completion record. Teddy's got a little bit more yards per game. Teddy's got less TDs, unsurprisingly. Teddy's got less interceptions.
What? He always has less TDs than Kirk Cousins.
And Teddy's QBR is a little bit less.
He's right on cue for his 14 TD season, Teddy Bridgewater. Look, he's got
13. He's got 13 already.
He's got 13, so he'll pass 14 this week probably.
But he has
he's got 13 already when Big Ben gets that in a fucking month.
Right. But he doesn't have Justin Jefferson or Adam Thielen either. Nor does he have Dalvin Cook and a running back. Christian McCaffrey's only played 3 games this season.
Yeah, he's probably not going to have McCaffrey this week.
Give me the Carolina wideouts.
Carolina wideouts. Ooh.
Without looking. Quit looking. It's trivia.
But I've got pictures of them.
I think isn't it Samuel? Curtis Samuel, one of them?
Curtis Samuel is one of them.
The guy that used to be on the Jets. That one guy, Robby.
Moore.
You got that,
Robby
Curtis
Anderson.
Samuel. You got DJ Moore.
Robby Anderson.
Yep.
DJ
and Robby
Moore.
Anderson's their third
What
guy.
are you talking? Those are damn good players right there, man. What are you talking about? Those aren't scrubs.
They're not slouches.
No, they're not.
They're
slouches.
not. They're not Thielen and Jefferson, but they're not bad.
Oh, I've seen worse cores than that. I mean, and who's running the ball? Mike Davis or somebody?
That's one of them.
Out.
Yeah.
McCaffrey's out.
McCaffrey. Yeah, he was limited in practice today, so he was practicing, but
I thought I already heard he's going to be out. I do have the injury report. We'll get to that.
I mean, looking at the injury report right now, McCaffrey was a limited participant on Wednesday. It says.
Isn't Carolina coming off a shutout? I mean, I know it's the Lions and everything.
They beat Detroit 20-0.
Nothing. They didn't give up any points, so we got our work cut out for us.
Oh, it's not going to be easy. It's not
no.
It's not. Oh, by far, it's not a cakewalk.
I know it's the Lions, but the Lions, they can't get a touchdown. I mean, I didn't know Carolina.
Apparently not.
PF, there's the spread. Vegas had it at -4 with a 48.5 over/under. And why PFS has us ranked so this high, I think they're on fucking drugs. Pardon my language.
There you go.
Yeah, there's no way in hell we're sixth in offense.
I think the over-under is pretty accurate on that 48.5, but
probably.
I don't know. Man, this is going to be – I think Carolina's twice the team Dallas is, and we kind of let them run up and down the field on us. And I have to see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, Drew, you asked me today, the question was you asked how many freaking leads do you need to win for our defense? And I answered, how far do we have to be ahead not to worry in the last 2 minutes?
Cousins gave us the lead 2 different times and we couldn't hold it. Say what you want about that last drive. Come on, Vikings, you got to hold the lead. Come on.
Right. But for us to not be worried and not have my heart going thud, 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 thud. And
30 points?
Well, we need to be up 2 scores within that last 2 minutes. And then the whole playbook's open. We can run Dalvin
and
to eat clock.
Realistically, that 2 scores needs to be more than 10 points. It needs to be like 13 points or something or 11
preferably, but 10 points even.
Something where a touchdown and a field goal is not going to tie it up because, we've seen it happen before. They'll get a touchdown, then they get an onside kick. Then they move down and get into field goal range right away. So,
then we all join Flip and say fire them all.
No,
we've been saying that already.
The longer
you're the only one that hasn't been saying that. Dave.
Listen. The longer a Viking game goes on, the more it seems they get scared. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
As the more their ass is puckering as the fourth quarter wears away, they get more and more.
They don't have that killer instinct, Gene. They don't have a killer instinct. Like we were talking about this the other day, Drew. When you're up by a touchdown, your goal should be to go up by 2 touchdowns. If you're up by 2 touchdowns, your goal should be to go up by 3 touchdowns. You get towards the end of the game and you're up by 3 scores or something like that, then you can start playing the clock and whatever else. But we get up by a field goal and Zimmer's like, okay, we're going to hold that now. We can start going conservative on the offense, and that's when we seem like we start going 3 and out. No,
he doesn't get aggressive on the defense. Look at that stat that Courtney Cronin threw up there about the pressures on Dalton. The 4 times they did pressure him was completely bad plays for Dallas. Well, keep pressuring him then. Come on.
Right.
Well,
we couldn't get pressure with the front 4. That was the problem.
They only ran like 12 blitzes the whole game or something ungodly low versus the previous game where we were blitzing like crazy. Now, I did hear that Andy
the difference there was we were not scared that Chicago was going to run the ball because they couldn't. Dallas could run the ball, so we were holding back to trying to stop the run, and they were still running all over our ass.
Plus, Andy Dalton could read a blitz and dump off. He's got a quick read to throw time period. And he was beating the blitzers weren't getting there because he was releasing the ball so quick. But they only ran like a dozen, and that was it, which is extremely low. It's the lowest of the season.
Drive the field twice on him, Ryno, to beat him. That's what they did.
I know. I was watching it.
Slant, run, slant.
Was I the only one getting mad at the slant? Was it just me about the slant?
No.
Was it just Drew? Oh, it seemed like every other play was that.
Amari Cooper was schooling Jones. But anyways,
are
we going to see that from Carolina? If I was Carolina, I'd try to mirror that.
If Matt Rule's smart, we will see that from Carolina. We'll see a heavy dose of it from any team we play until we prove that we can stop it. We'll see it next week. We'll see it next week against Jacksonville.
And I'd rather lose being aggressive than I would lose.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you're going to sell out and get burned on a 9 route, so be it. But at least I fucking tried. At least I tried to pressure him.
Play to win, and if it doesn't work out for you, At least you gave it a shot. Don't play not to lose, because when you play not to lose 9 freaking times out of 10, you lose.
When you got Cook, Thielen, and Justin Jefferson, why wouldn't you want to be aggressive? I mean, come on.
And you throw in Smith and Rudolph too in the tight ends. I mean, for Christ's sakes,
be aggressive.
Absolutely.
Isn't that a saying? Is that a cheer? Be aggressive. Be aggressive or something.
It is.
I mean,
yeah.
I'd love to run the playbook for one game with those guys, with Cook and fucking Jefferson and Thielen. Not to brag, but I think Drew's putting up a 50 burger with those guys.
Well, and you should, with the talent level we even with the O-line issues. And we do have O-line issues. I want to see Ezra Cleveland back so bad. But
realistically, Mr. Invisible was the highest rated offensive lineman last week.
But his issue has always been getting to the second level.
Right.
I saw a breakdown of the film. He was only asked to get to the second level 3 times this game, which is next to nothing.
Yeah.
And he whiffed completely on one of them.
But the guy hasn't played in 3 years either, so.
Too many mistakes. 8 penalties or 80 yards is too much, guys. You can't have that many.
Absolutely.
Granted, whether they're justified or not, it's too many.
Right.
He needs to have them ready.
Dave.
He's with the right attitude. I'm sorry. I'm tired of. Yes, there are some excuses, but I'm tired of them. You've got at least come out aggressive, mentally ready to go. And if you lose, then you lose.
Right.
There we go.
But if you're not coming out mentally and you're coming out flat,
I hate that shit.
It's Ziggy and Mark. Here's a little advice to you. That drives us fans absolutely crazy. I want heart. I want all heart. If we lose, we lose. But if we have heart, I'll buy the tickets. I'll buy the memorabilia, the jerseys, the hats.
What's Carolina's record? Are they out of it? Are they in it? What's their record?
They're
out of it, aren't they?
I think they're out.
I think they're like 6-5, aren't they?
No, I don't think they're that good. No.
I thought they were like 4-6 like us.
I thought they were like 2 and something.
No, they've got they got 4 or 5 wins for sure.
So they're not playing for any division, right? You know.
Well, I mean, they're in the same division as Saints and Tampa Bay.
Tampa.
I mean, realistically, they're last week. You know, they could be maybe in line for that last wild card spot. I guess, you know. For some reason, I was thinking they had 5 or 6 wins, but
no. I don't think they do. I'm looking it up. Come on, NFL. Schedule standings.
When's Ryno going to get his gobblehorn picks in too? I wanted to go over that with him.
That's a good question.
I already gave them to you. I sent them to you like the day. Yeah, I sent them to you the day that you put the thing out.
I better double check my list. Maybe I put them in there and I didn't double check my list.
Yeah, because I sent them over on IM to you, so you should have them.
Okay.
Carolina's 4-7.
4-7.
Basically the same as us. So.
Yeah, same record we got. Basically,
we're 4-6.
I mean,
they haven't had their bye yet.
They haven't had their bye week yet.
There's something to be said. Say what you want about their record. That team didn't have McCaffrey last week, and they didn't have Teddy Bridgewater. Take your starting running back and your starting quarterback away, and they went on the road. And weren't they in Detroit too? I'm not sure where it was played, but you take your quarterback and you take those 2 guys off.
No, they were home.
And they won the game.
Oh, that was
okay.
And they won the game. Home. But they won the game 20-0 without their quarterback and their running back. That's impressive. There's no other way to look at it being impressive.
CMC's only been available for 3 games.
Mm-hmm. Are we winning 20-0 if you take Cousins and Cook away from the Vikings?
We can't win 20-0 with them.
We could score 20 points, but
that's the quote of the show right there, Ryno. I mean, PJ Walker, PJ Carlson, whatever his name is. I mean,
all right.
PJ Fleck.
I know you've been avoiding this the entire time. What do you expect from this man?
Dun, dun, dun.
You know what? To clear the air for everybody that might be listening, I like Teddy. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he's a serviceable quarterback.
And he's got a great smile.
I only get upset
nice
with people when people overpraise him and put him in the elite category based on him being a nice guy. That's all I've ever said about Teddy. I think he has good game. But he's an average quarterback. He's never done anything for people to talk about him as being like Warren Moon. I don't see it.
No, the two years he was here, what were the numbers I told you earlier today, Drew? That he's 17-11, like 27 touchdowns, 19 interceptions, and 6,100 yards. That's 220 yards a game.
With a damn good defense. With a damn good defense.
But he was developing, and that's the Norv Turner restrain. Let's run the football offense.
Yeah, but I mean.
But like
he's put up on that pedestal like freaking Fran Tarkenton and stuff in this fan base by a certain group, not by everybody, but by a certain group of people.
Hey, I'm an advocate. When you looked at the in-depth stats and you looked at his medium range passes and all that stuff, he was.
If Teddy Bridgewater did what Kirk Cousins did in that Cowboys game, I guarantee you Dave would have said it's the defense who lost us that game by not holding those leads. He wouldn't have gave Teddy an F. Because he likes Teddy more than Cousins.
Oh, that I agree. I do like Teddy more than Cousins.
Look at it from football standpoint. Don't bring the like into it. That has nothing to do with it. It doesn't have anything to do with it. You got to look at it straight across the board. Football.
You got John Doe versus Joe Bag of Donuts. You look at
I think Teddy has a better future than Kirk Cousins.
But you wouldn't have blamed that that loss last week on Teddy Bridgewater. You would.
I might have. It depends if he would have missed those throws. But Teddy didn't have Teddy wasn't missing the clutch gene. He could drive people back at the end of the game.
Give me the floor.
And he did.
For 30 seconds. What? 1 year, I think it was 2014 or 2015.
It's 15.
Still with us, right?
Mm-hmm. It's 15.
We had a game in Arizona, and we had a game in Denver.
He fumbled.
And both of those games, we had the ball with the last possession, Ryno, and Teddy fumbled both possessions.
Right. But
granted
both of those, he was driving downfield.
Come on. Granted, the
he
Denver
was.
When Kurt fumbled, when Cousins fumbles, he's a piece of shit.
That's because I don't like Kirk Cousins as much as I like Teddy Bridgewater.
Right. So yeah, you just.
I admit that.
You're taking personal opinion of a person.
That's what fans do.
Versus taking the statistical analysis.
Well, the statistical analysis, they're about equal. Actually, I think Teddy's just slightly above, but they're both at the middle range of quarterback.
Kirk puts up better numbers than Teddy does. He always has.
Except for wins.
My point is when it came to
at
Arizona, he fumbled the game.
Bridgewater hasn't put up. Bridgewater doesn't have an overwhelmingly win versus loss record. I mean, he was, like I said, 27-11 or 27-19. I think when he was here, or something like that. He was 7-8 games over.
Put up average numbers.
27-21. He was 7 games over 500, I believe.
And Kirk Cousins, I think the most he's ever been over 500 at any time in his career has been like 3 games.
Right, but what I'm saying is, people, you've got these groups. You've got the Cousins lovers who say, "Look at his stats! Look at his stats! Look at his stats!" And then you got the Teddy Tubbies who said, "The stats don't matter. He's got the it factor, and just look at what he can do."
Well, yeah.
You can't have it both ways. You either look at the stats or you don't look at the stats. You can't look at the stats because you like this guy and don't look at the stats because you like that guy. You were talking about consistency earlier with officiating, Dave. You got to be consistent on how you analyze players, too. You got to take the personal feelings about a certain player out of it. The hell you don't.
That's really well said.
I mean,
because if you're not going to talk about it just on football terms, what's the purpose of talking about it if you're going to let your personal feelings bleed?
Then you're just a fanboy.
Well, yeah. Oh, I admit I like Teddy.
Well, I like Teddy too, but I can set aside my personal feelings and I'm not a Cousins fan. You guys all know that.
I like him too, but he's not Warren Moon. Let's stop with it. He's
exactly.
average.
He's not Randall Cunningham. He's not Warren Moon. He's not
average.
He's
average.
He's not Jeff George. He's not Tommy Kramer. He's not.
No, he's not.
Could he have been? But if Ted Glover would say, ISIS blew his knee up, maybe. He kind of looked like he might have been poised to take a step in 2016, but we'll never know because, he had an IED planted out in the middle of the practice field and he stepped on it or whatever the hell happened. But
of course, this isn't giving me
if you go 14 for 24 for 160 yards and 1 touchdown, there's nothing to write home about. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but how much of that is play calling?
He's been like that his whole career, though.
But like I said, how much of that is play calling?
Yeah, but you were
blaming
it on
call
Norv
a pass
Turner
play,
earlier.
you're not going to get reps.
You were blaming it on Norv Turner earlier, Dave. Dave.
I was.
Yeah. You were blaming it on Norv Turner earlier. Norv ran the Air Coryell offense, which is predicated on the deep passing and all this other stuff. It's not the Shanahan / Kubiak run first, run second, and throw if you got time scenario we've got right now. So Teddy underneath what is always considered a passing offense. You look back when Don Coryell was with the Chargers and you had Dan Fouts and everybody else running that stuff. They were throwing the ball all over the place back then.
Oh, hell yeah.
By that thing, Teddy should have had
they were
5,000 yards a season.
They're going. They were running with Adrian mainly, and they were doing mostly the short dink and ducks. Teddy's overall career win-loss record is 54-44.
Yeah.
Average.
And five of those wins came last year.
500 versus below 500 like Kirk Cousins. That's what I'm saying. They're both relatively equal, and at that level.
Coryell. Remember that? Dan Fouts, Wes Chandler, Charlie Joyner, Kellen Winslow, Donnie Woods. Yep. Man, that was a good offense. That was
a fun offense to watch.
The Vikings better pressure Teddy. He's been around. We can call him a veteran now, right? He's not a kid anymore.
No, he's a veteran.
But if you let him sit back there like the Red Rifle did, he's going to kill us.
He's in his 6th season.
Kill us.
No, he missed a couple, but
so I don't know if Zimmer might have a couple things. He knows a little bit of Teddy's flaws. He can kind of maybe take care of that, but I guarantee if they sit back in that vanilla bullshit, Bridgewater likes those 8-yard square outs and those slants,
he'll
dude.
He'll destroy him. Shit. Yeah.
Oh, like we were talking earlier, Drew. I listened to Zimmer's Zoom conference this morning on the radio.
I quit watching those. It's a waste of my fucking time.
The only reason I had it on was because I had the radio on in my office and it came on because I was listening to K-Fan.
Shit every week.
Right, but anytime the reporters said anything, asked any kind of a question about Teddy, you could tell that.
And they were purposely doing it.
Zimmer still loves this kid like he's his own son.
He does.
He'll sit. Teddy hasn't been on this team for 3 years now.
And they still talk about texting each other.
Talks about him like he's his favorite player and all this and everything else.
Hey,
you had Case Keenum who went 12-3, and he couldn't say one good thing about Keenum the entire freaking season, other than one time he said, "Well, the guy's got big balls."
Yeah, no, brass balls or something like
big
that.
Balls.
Yes,
big balls.
All right, big balls.
Zimmer lets the personal card get into his coaching way too
much.
So
he does.
Zimmer's not going to blitz Teddy because he doesn't want to hurt him.
No. He'll want to win this game. They even asked him about that at the press conference.
He'll want to win the game, but he won't be heartbroken if Bridgewater's walking off a winner either, and that's probably a problem.
He'll be pissed that his defense didn't do what he wanted his defense to do, or his offense didn't do what he wanted them to do, or the special teams screwed up again and he's about to fire Maloof.
Yeah.
Do you think Chuck Noll and Marv Levy cared about the quarterbacks after 3 years after they left their team?
Nope.
They didn't, because you can't let that shit bother you.
You shouldn't care about the player. If your player's leaves in the offseason, you shouldn't care about him the upcoming season. You can still talk to him, do whatever all else, but when it comes to game time, that guy is your freaking mortal enemy, and you do everything in your power to shut him down for that game. Once the game is over, you can go to to the 50-yard line, shake hands, hug, whatever.
Case Keenum gave Mike Zimmer his best career here since he's been here. His best season.
And he hated the guy.
Say. I know, but he gave him his best season since he's been head coach. How can he hate him?
Hate him.
Yeah, Zimmer did not like Keenum.
He drove Zimmer crazy.
But look how far. Look at that season. Look at that record. Look how far they went. NFC title game. How can he dislike a guy that gave him his best season since he's been head coach here? It's amazing.
And speaking of which, that season, 2017 season, if you want to read about it, Matthew Collar just came out with his book, The Miracle Season, about 2017.
He wrote a book about that one season?
About that one season.
Well, if he's good enough to write a book about it, then Zimmer should be good enough to say a little praise for Case Keenum, shouldn't he?
I would think so.
But the big... And I'm going to believe this till the day I die, and I've said it before. I think the biggest reason why Zimmer did not like Keenum is because Zimmer hates gunslinger mobile quarterbacks who go off script, improvise, and everything else because they drive his defenses nuts. And Zimmer is so hardwired to be a defensive guy that he couldn't even like a player that did that to help his own team.
Everything you just said is where the league is going. Everything you just said is how the league is morphed into.
But Zimmer wants the guy who's going to follow the script, do what he's told, so on and so forth, which...
He's basically
he doesn't want Mahomes and he doesn't want Russell Wilson.
Right, which is what... I mean, he basically has that right now, and so he should love Cousins, but I don't think he does.
I don't want that Russell Wilson going off script. That guy ruins everything. Keep him out of here.
You drive my defenses nuts. Well, Mike, he's not playing against your defense anymore. He drives them nuts in practice. That's bad enough.
Do we win this game, or do the Vikings care enough to win this game, guys? What do you think?
It's a toss-up. It really is.
A lot of crickets right there. A lot of crickets. I hear a lot of crickets. I'm not
I don't have
a lot of faith.
You can't call crickets. I don't have the cricket sound loaded up.
I don't have I'm not hearing a lot of faith from my friends here about a big blowout. I'm not hearing it.
I'm not confident that I was confident we were going to beat Dallas, and look what happened. I'm not confident.
You all were. I was the only one worried.
Like you said earlier, Drew, on paper and with the numbers, Carolina and the Vikings are very similarly matched. So this game could easily go, even if we both play well, this game could go either way, very easily. But if we come out flat or whatever else, yeah. But you know how things work, and you and I were talking about this earlier too. It wouldn't surprise me one bit for Bridgewater to come out, throw 3 freaking touchdowns, 300 yards passing, and then you've got that chunk of the fan base who still wakes up and worships at the feet of Teddy that are going to say, see, we should have kept him and not got Cousins in here, blah, 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 Teddy. Oh, I know it is. You got that group of Teddy Tubbies that just can't let things go, let it go, that he's not here anymore.
I hate to break the news to y'all. Cousins and Teddy, neither of those guys are going to be winning any Super Bowl trophies. So you can jot it down now. You can call me out if I'm wrong, but I feel pretty good placing money on that bet.
I'm not going to argue with you.
But Carolina, like I said, they didn't have two of their best offensive players, and they won by 20 last week. So they're at least coached right. They didn't fall apart without their two top guys. So they're coming in here. It's gonna be a scratch and cat fight all the way through, I think.
Speaking of top guys missing, Adam Thielen is presently on COVID reserve. However, I did hear today,
though, right? Saturday, he gets okayed.
That he tested positive on Sunday. The result came Monday. He got thrown on it, but the Monday test was negative.
Tested positive. I heard he was just around people that had positive tests. He
got a positive test.
He actually
got a positive test. So he needs 2 negative tests before he can return. Now, the Monday test was, I heard today, negative. So if the Tuesday test, which we'll hear about tomorrow, is negative, he'll be good to go.
Sundays could have been a false positive.
It could have been a false positive. He has no symptoms.
Or if he tested positive and then tested negative, he was on the tail end of it, which means the 2 weeks before that, everybody else he was around.
But they test every day. So.
They would have caught it.
He tested positive, but he's had one negative since the positive, right?
Right.
He said one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So either the positive was false or that follow-up negative was false. One of the two. We'll find out.
Just don't tell me KJ Osborne isn't playing, because that's going to send me into a fucking frenzy if we don't have that.
Oh yeah. We can't. We have no chance if we don't have Ozzie back there returning kicks for us.
What a weapon he is!
With that, we've been over an hour. Last words there, Ryno.
I mean, like I said, I think this is going to be a tough game. It's going to be nip and tuck. It's going to come down to whoever makes the fewest amount of mistakes. I think you're going to have to play good in all three phases: offense, defense, special teams, which we haven't really been able to do lately. I mean, hopefully we can pull it together. These guys. And I've been hammering this all year. These guys have got to play with some pride. I mean, and that includes the coaches. You see something's not working, don't keep running the same freaking plays again. Make adjustments. Go out there and do what you need to freaking do to win the game.
One of my favorite Grateful Dead albums, with the ice cream cone to the forehead.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like.
But I'm not going to give a prediction because I don't feel good about this game one way or the other. It's going to be it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tight game, and we'll just have to see how it plays out.
Drew?
I don't know what's going to happen with the Vikings anymore, but I know two things. I do know two things for certain. When Teddy gets sacked and he fumbles and we recover, I'm going to laugh at Dave on the thread.
Go right ahead.
Second thing. I want everybody out there to have a kick-ass Thanksgiving tomorrow. We're recording. It's Wednesday night now. I want you two gentlemen to have an exceptional Thanksgiving, and that's what I want to concentrate on, is that we're all going to have a good time with our families. We're all going to be safe, and we're going to
watch a couple of football games.
Watch a couple of football games, and we're all going to celebrate. In terms of the Vikings, I'm just playing it out, gentlemen. I'm hoping we win, but I'm not going to predict anything like Ryno said. I'm just going to sit back and see what happens. But Teddy's going to fumble. He's going to get sacked.
Teddy's going to come in and probably throw 375 yards and 4 TDs and just irritate people.
Dude, it takes him 3 games to do that. What are you talking about? He's not going to do that.
Well, and Vikings Twitter will go nuts.
Oh, yeah, Ryno said it's all going to be re-upped this week. Oh, it was all reborn this week. There we go.
Yes, it will.
Well, have a Thanksgiving, you guys.
You too, dude.
With that, everybody, I concur. This starts officially the holiday season. Hopefully you can spend it with families, with family members. Unlike me, thanks to governors in 2 states.
I'm guessing Dave has a couple drinks tomorrow. That's just
trust me, that's already planned. I've already got some wine in the fridge.
What I'm doing too, because of the whole COVID deal with my dad has respiratory issues and some other stuff. So we're kind of playing it safe. So I'll basically be sitting in my chair watching football with a turkey leg in one hand and a bottle of booze in the other hand, and.
I've been sitting in a chair watching football for 50 years, and look where it's gotten me. It's a good life. It's an okay life, Ryno.
With that, everybody,
meow meow.
Stay safe. Enjoy your friends, family, if you can, even if it's virtual. Enjoy the great food, great beverage of whatever choice, and hopefully, go Vikings, go Vikings. Go! Thank you for watching or listening. As always, if you like, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications. And if you're listening to the podcast, please rate us on your favorite aggregator. SKOL, everybody.